Hi, I'm Jessica,
And I'm Tracy.
and this is She's on Top, the place where we celebrate and elevate women.
And today we're going to be talking about a really important topic. We're going to be talking about our mental health.
Yeah, we've definitely had our struggles lately, especially for me in the last couple of weeks. And we know a lot of you have as well. So we thought we'd just share a couple of the things that have worked for us and, in the hopes that they might help you as well.
Yeah, so one of the things that has really been helpful for both of us has been a form of exercise. During COVID, we've all been inside, we're all working from home. And what I have found personally very helpful is I go for a walk every morning. And I try to listen to a podcast or an interesting talk or something. And I find that just being out, walking in nature, getting myself going in the morning has been really helpful. And there's mornings where I really don't want to do it. I'm tired. I'm like, I don't know, I'm just in a bad mood. I just don't want to do it. And I force myself to do it. And I come back, like this morning, I had this really awful experience. All the alarms in my house went off and 6 in the morning, trying to deal with it. So grumpy. Anyway, I forced myself to go for a walk. And by the time I came back, I was feeling so much better. So doing some form of exercise right now, I think is so important for our mental health.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I'd say along that note, I've been doing the same thing. I have a dog, and there's a cemetery behind me, and I walk the dog in the cemetery, and I absolutely love it because it's quiet and I have it kind of to myself. But I would also say it was funny when I hit the wall a couple of weeks ago. One of the things that helped me was to break routine because I was feeling a little bit like stuck, like hamster on a wheel, doing the same thing every day, and I was like needed relief. And so I phoned you, Tracy, and we decided to meet at a local beach, walk the dog, sit by the water. It changed our whole day, didn't it? That was Friday. It was so
Really did.
uplifting.
It was amazing. I think we decided we're going to meet every Friday and go for a swim in the lake. And it just I don't know, it just changes up the routine too, which I think is really important.
It was made a huge difference. The other thing that I was going to say too is for me, we all have different triggers, right? So you never know when this is going to hit. For me, what it was the heat. I'm very heat sensitive, and the heat, it's like in Toronto, it went up to like 90, 100 degrees. And, it felt like we'd just gotten out, we'd moved to stage 2 or 3 or whatever it is, and we could go out and be outside. And then the heat actually forced us back in. So it gave me a kind of like panic attack, feeling claustrophobic. So I was struggling, I have friends, also it's the summer, a lot of my friends are away or at cottages. So, I kind of casually reached out to people, just trying to connect. And, I said to one friend, do you want to have Zoom call? They were busy. I said to another friend, do you want to get to go there for a walk? And she was busy. And then it wasn't until a couple of days later when I sort of confessed that I was having a really hard time that they all said, you should have told me. If I'd known you were struggling, I would have got on that Zoom call. If I'd known you, they were so embarrassed and apologetic. You have to be specific. You have to just I think it's weird. It's almost like there's like a little bit of shame around it, or maybe when you're in the early stage. But I know, being on the other end of it, I had a girlfriend reach out and she sent an email and she said, I'm struggling. I don't know if I can manage this. I was on the phone like that. So yeah. Don't be embarrassed to say I'm struggling, because lots of people are.
That's true. And it's really important. I think when you tell somebody specifically, you'll find there is help there. And another thing that has been helpful for me is I've been taking this fantastic course, many courses. And I think it's investing in myself. So I'm taking a course through the Deanne Vermelt Institute for Higher Learning, which is built on the principle that only when you come to your own realizations through study and inquiry, there can be a breakthrough. And the purpose of the study is for you to discover the truth for yourself. And there's lots of free courses and lectures. If you're interested, I will put links below. But it was so important to invest in myself and to figure out things about myself. And some people might think, oh, who needs to spend the time on you? But it really, really is important, because when you do that work, when you figure that stuff out, you're better, not just for yourself, you're actually better for everybody else. So I will definitely put links below. For me, it's been hugely helpful. They have courses all the time. Some are free, some are paid, but definitely go check it out.
I think that's great. And I think that the big factor here is that you mentioned was time, because it would have been so easy, because it was a busy course, for you to say, I don't have much time, or feel guilty, feel like it was taking away from work. We totally managed it. I actually think it really helped us. I learned a lot from that course from you. You were able to share a lot, right? I think from that course. And so whatever you have to do for yourself to fill up the well, because it's being emptied all the time, I happen to talk, I actually have a therapist that I went to see, and he was saying, our cortisol levels are really burned down low. So whatever you have to do, do it, right? Because
Yeah.
there's something serious going on. It's physical as well as just mental.
Yeah, absolutely. Which kind of brings me or us to sort of our last point, that on my walk this morning, I listened to a podcast with Dax Shepard of the Armchair Expert, and he was talking with Dr. Nina Vassen, who is a professor at Stanford and the founder of the Stanford Lab for Mental Health Innovation. And she gave out a really surprising stat. So I'm going to ask Jessica, because she doesn't know. When people are struggling and having a hard time, how long do you think it is before they reach out for help in the way of seeing a therapist or psychiatrist? How long do you think it is before they reach out?
I would say off the top of my head, 6 months.
Okay, well, you're going to be surprised to find out that it is 11 years.
What?
People struggle for 11 years. They will be in bad marriages, having struggling with their business, and they will find other coping mechanisms. It's actually 11 years before they will go and seek out therapy. Is that not insane?
Wow. Yeah. It's, you know, it's interesting because I have had, they were like, especially male friends. I'd be curious to see what the ratio of that is, who I've gone out and talked with, and they are actually struggling in their relationship or struggling with work or whatever. And they'll ask me all about my therapist and what do you do, which is a compliment because they can obviously see you're doing well. When I check back, they haven't gone.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's like,
yeah.
You're right. It's like, even though you can have the idea in your head, but to actually make the commitment.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, you know, if we hurt, we have a sore throat, or we have a stomach ache, or we have a headache, you know, we'll go to the doctor after a few days. It's bothering us, but there's something about mental health that we don't reach out for help. So especially now during COVID, there's so many crazy things going on in the world. I think it's really important to find a good therapist. I mean, Jessica and I both go to the same therapist. He's fantastic. And I actually don't know how I got through all this without going to see him, and well, not see him through Zoom and speak to him.
You know what? It's really important. Seek a professional. I mean, if it doesn't matter whether you have money or not, there's lots of there's lots of pro bono mental health people. There's groups that you can join, and it's not only for yourself. It'll help. You'll be a better parent. You'll be able to help your children. Tracy and I wouldn't have a successful business without this, would we? Like, there's just no way if we both didn't get the counseling. So 100% do it, because you know, you won't regret it. Also, I wanted to say one thing with mental health or with therapists. A lot of times it's like anything. It's like finding a doctor. It's like finding, I'm going to say a hairdresser, which is kind of like, but you may not hit it the first time. Like, interview them. Don't you think, Tracy? Sometimes you need to go 2, 3, 4 to find the right fit. Like, if you go to one and you're like, it's not right for me, that one's not right for you. There will be one right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So we've just touched on a few areas that we have found a little bit helpful, and we would really, really love your feedback. Please let us know how, if you have any tips or if you have any views on how we can help everybody right now, because this really is becoming a huge issue, especially with what's going on in our lives.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we'd love if you do so now. Hit that bell button below and give us a thumbs up if you like this video.
And also, we have a newsletter. Please subscribe. We share lots of great information and tips, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn.
And we would love your feedback on this mental health topic, like any tips that you have. And we're actually thinking of developing it into a series, getting more experts on, more tips, because, you know, they are calling this mental health thing the shadow pandemic that's going on right now. So if you would like this to be a series, we'd love that feedback as well.
Yeah. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
See ya.